Greetings, folks. This is Scott with the Game Audio Institute, and we are doing more stuff inside Unreal with our constellation layer. Um, so let's just get right into it. And I'm just going to let you know we'll be able to make sound after this. Won't that be really cool? Anyway, um, all right. I know it's been a really long time, so we'll actually get to maybe making a couple sounds in MetaSound. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so let's take a look at where we're at and what we have to do still. Actually, we already got there, so I'm going to actually disable the things and then recreate them. Um, okay. So basically, the deal is we had started it all the way out to the component overlapping, and then there was a bunch of other stuff that we had there going on, and we had the print string if it would match a certain sort of variable and that sort of stuff. And that's basically the deal there. Now, actually, what we're looking at was our playhead. So our playhead had a bunch of other stuff. I'll just sort of stop it right there. Um, so what we had here was going through the list of objects. In this particular case, what happens is the playhead is going over the objects in question, the trigger objects over, and the idea is that then it's going to detect objects underneath there. And originally, my idea was that it would get to the trigger object. The trigger object would have the information about whether the cell was on or off, and then it would just access that information. In Unreal, that's not as easy, or it doesn't seem to be as easy as it seems to be, in Unity. Uh, Again, I keep finding all kinds of things that Unreal does in its way that Unity does not do, as well. Or I should say that Unity. I meant to say that Unreal does in particular in its way that Unity does in a different way. And a way closer to the way that I think, as opposed to the way that it thinks. Anyway, so the thing is what it's doing is it's got this component overlap actors. So when the playhead gets to that point, it's going to hit this playhead overlap actors, and for each loop, it's basically going in and finding all the objects that it's overlapping with, right? And then it wants to do is find the object that has the prefix cell, and then here's what's going to happen. So what happens now is that condition is now true. So I return the value true. When it is true, then I get another thing to go to another branch. And then what I do is I've got this thing, the root component. And then there is this option called is visible. So is visible, again, this is one of those things where, like in Unity, if you're doing this, it would be the object is enabled or disabled. Well, actually, one of the things that I found out is that Unreal does not disable objects at all. Your object is either there or it's not there. Like it's either been destroyed or you create it. That's it. In other words, Unreal and blueprints, whatever, it tends to think like a programmer. It tends to think very, very literally. So, in other words, if you have an object in a scene, that object is instantiated. If you don't want the object in the scene, you delete it. That's it. Those are your two options: a deleted object or an instantiated object. You have no disabling. You can, of course, make the object not visible, but if there's any scripts running on the object that run into variables that they can't find or anything like that, you're going to get total errors, and it probably won't even compile, most likely. Or yeah, I don't know. These are all guesses on my part, but I've just noticed this, and I've looked into threads about this, and it's incredible that there's no ability to disable an object at all. Period. Nope, not possible. I mean, like, it is possible, but it requires an incredible amount of workarounds. It's not easy. Again, these kinds of things are just kind of mysterious to me sometimes. Anyway, so what happens is this is visible object is actually applied to the root component of the scene. Okay. So the root component of the scene, and what happens in this case is I'm taking this object and then I'm somehow or another getting the root component of the scene related to the target and putting that into this variable so that it knows that that is visible or not. Okay. and in this case, the cell. Okay, so the cell is based on whether or not I've clicked on it. Now, if I start this whole thing, you'll see a little bit in a second. I just want to, I'm giving this a little bit of, drama preparation, whatever, because it'll make sound. It made sound last night, so we're going to be doing that. Anyway, so normally it defaulted to the default scene root. That's look the scene component object reference. When I decided to use the array element, which is the actor that I'm looking for, in this case, the one that starts with the prefix cell. Remember, it's not going to go through unless this prefix matches the word cell, right? So that's the idea, the name, the display name. Okay, so I could then move that to there, and then it's going to return the value of true to let me do this stuff, and it's going to let this, thing go through here. And then, aha, I have a very, very simple little thing here, and that is play sound 2D. I have a pitch multiplier of 1.7, a volume multiplier of 1.0, which basically be, top volume. Start time of 0. I'm not changing the start time at all. And that is it. That is what's happening. So whenever the playhead gets overlaps an object named cell, and the cell is visible, bang. That's the deal, right? We get a sound. Okay. So let's show you what that actually looks like. So what happens is that when we start this up, it's going to print a bunch of stuff, but don't pay that any attention at the moment. Okay, and we know it always starts out like that with that little thing. But you see what happens is it turned off all the cells. Okay, it turned off all the cells. Now what happens is all I have to do is then click the triggers. The triggers already have an interaction that automatically enables or disables visibility as a toggle. So whenever I click on them, I'm going to turn it on. When I click off it, it'll turn off. And any of these objects that I turn on will be on. Any of them that are not clicked on, they will be off. Okay, so that's basically the deal. Now, so let's just say I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there we go. Something like that. I have no idea how this will sound, but it's just the only thing that I can do at the moment because I only have one playhead. Now, I'm going to probably duplicate this playhead as many times as I need to and reposition them accordingly. And they will all go down their little ways and play sound. But I also want to, see if I can maybe get a. We'll see what happens if I can get a meta sound to happen. There we go. Okay, so that's basically it. It's very unfancy, but that is the deal, right? And the other thing is I also need to get, sounds. So I'll probably get a meta sound thing going. So we were somewhat fortunate in the sense that we started out with, in our content drawer, an actual meta sound object. That was our metronome, I believe, right? There we go. That's the metronome. Now, what I want to do is probably find something inside here. Yeah. I probably want to just take this stuff, this audio pulse here, and then figure out how to make something happen with it. I'm going to make a new meta sound, then I'm going to paste the content of that in there, and then we'll see what happens as far as making that happen. So I'm going to make a new meta sound, which would be add. And it's off your map here, but I'm going to probably find it, I think. Yeah, it's called MetaSounds source. So I'm making a new MetaSounds source. So I'll double click that. I'm sure there'll be nothing actually there. There it goes. Input on play. Boing, boing, boing. So that's actually pretty good. Then I think we can. Did we actually go to our metronome? Yes, we did. So I'm going to take all this stuff right here. Everything that I see in this point. Copy that. Bring it over to our new beep sound and paste it. So I don't know whether it'll let me play with the frequency or not. So we'll find out if that actually works. But that should basically work as far as getting a sound out of the thing, I'd say. So let's just see what happens there. Oh, there it is. I'm hearing it. We need to get a little bit of a lengthy time. How about a decay time of a lot longer than 1.6 seconds? How about 0.5 seconds? Nope, still nothing. Aha, there we are. A little quiet, but there it is. Yeah, it's not perfect, and it's kind of noisy and has some aliasing, so I may be getting my issues a little bit weird here, but let's see what happens. Oh, well, I'm saying it's not loud, but it's pegging the meters every time it does so. Interesting. All right. Well, better than nothing. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so that's at least a good solid possibility here. So let's go and check that out. Oh, did I compile? I may not have compiled. Well, okay, I guess it did compile. All right, so I'm going to click over here and click on a few little bits. Like that. And then see what happens. There we go. There we go. Okay, so let's go see if we can raise the volume of that thing up quite a bit. 2.0. See if that gets overly crazy or not. I mean, because you can hear how loud that one is, right? So you'd think it'd be able to work. Yeah, it's trying to be a mouse. Unfortunately, I don't want it to be a mouse really too much. Move around and stuff. Okay, here we go. Is it not going to work? Oh, it doesn't like that. Come on. No, it doesn't like it if I start moving it around as a mouse. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to undo that because obviously does not work. Yeah, once I've done that, if I start moving it around too much as a mouse, it's really a problem. Okay, one more time. So if I go like this, just only click it and don't drag. Obviously, we will have to cure these problems. There we go. All right. Okay, so that is, I think, a pretty good stopping point. We'll see whether we shorten this into 1 or 2. We'll find out. Anyway, but the next step will be to duplicate all the playheads and then also change the pitches a little tiny bit so that there's a little bit of a scale kind of thing going on. I'll have to figure out how to get the pitches going on that front. But hey, we're in MetaSounds. Hey, isn't that right? We are now actually making some sounds in MetaSounds. So it's very exciting, very cool. And we will start seeing how effective the timing ends up being when we start making more than one of these layers happening inside Unreal. And we'll just see how things go. Anyway, I hope this helps you get your game audio on inside Unreal, perhaps. And we'll see you again in the next one.